Hello, this is Adrian from Jaskiran Astrology, and I'm here to talk to you today about tomorrow night's new moon, sorry, in Pisces that happens at 9:24 p.m. on the East Coast. So you just need to adjust for wherever you are in the world. I feel like this is a really important moon. Not that they all aren't important. All of it is guiding us forward through growth and hopefully a new story of inner security as we move along through our lives. So let me go ahead and bring up the chart and we'll just get right on it. All right. Well, there we go. So this new moon, once again, is at the 28-degree mark. It's been at the 28 or 29-degree mark, very close to the 29-degree mark for every single new moon since um I believe the second new moon in Virgo last fall. So um the first full moon in Virgo, and they called it a black moon, meaning two new moons in a month. The first one was at 0 degrees Virgo, the second one at 29 degrees Virgo. Now, every new moon since then has been either at 28 or 29. I did look ahead to see if this was going to be a trend and what that might mean. Um, but it begins to move away. For example, this one is 28 degrees and 27 minutes. They get less and less. I believe the next new moon will be at 25 degrees. Maybe not this next one, the one in Taurus for sure. Um, so there'll be less and less, but I can say for sure that from September of last year till March of this year that we are experiencing kind of like the end and the beginning together because it's a new moon, which starts a new cycle. So I think it's really accentuating that we are ending something and beginning something new for this entire 6 month period of time. And we had a lot going on. We've had that happened near an eclipse. We had an eclipse last moon cycle. And here we are with the first new moon after the eclipse season of the spring. And so if you notice, we have this huge amount of planets, one, two, three, four, five planets in Pisces. And for my Substack um, report, which is a much more detailed report than I will give here today. And I will um, link it below in the comments and as well as my website. But I'm calling it the Great Unraveling. And I call it the unraveling, it's because the Pisces energy, all energies have two sides, but the Pisces energy is this dissolving energy. And I feel like when things dissolve and are gone, there's a void that's left. And so it's very quickly filled in by another energy. And the energy is very Piscean energy. And when I talk about Piscean energy, I'm really talking about the highest vibration. This is not the dissolving or the dissociation that is generally associated with the Pisces archetype, but this is like the transcendent energy where human beings are going to transcend the reality of where we have been because we have completed the cycle and we're going to begin to live a loftier. Pisces has this energy of higher meaning as well as the dissolving. This is a much more loftier energy. And the North Node has been in Pisces for since last January, and it will remain so until I believe the 26th of July when it will move into Leo, and Aquarius. Um, but while it's been in Pisces and Virgo, what I've been talking about is this energy of um, moving from one perception, because the South Node is in Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules two planets, two signs, both Gemini, which is the how our left brains gather information, and in the Virgo sign, it's how we sort and discern the information, what information's true, what fits with what we already understand, and what does not. It's the sorting function. And it to me, it talks about, the perspective, the perceptions that we have. And there's lots of perceptions and perspectives out there. We each have our own, in fact, because we each occupy a different space-time continuum. Therefore, we n never have exactly the same view. Our views may be similar to another person, but nobody has the same experiences. Nobody can really have the exact same perception. Um, so at 29, 28, almost 29 degrees, we are ending, I believe, one Piscean energy, this energy sort of dissociation, perhaps, and really beginning new moon in Pisces, a very new alignment of our inner world, how we feel within ourselves, and how we express that to the outer world in a more um, um, aligned with um, exalted Piscean values. So, like I was saying, the North Node has been there, and we've been working on raising our vibration for a while, and definitely since last January, we are aligning our future selves, North Node, with this Piscean loftiness. And so what you can see here is that Mercury's been retrograde for a little bit, but it's now conjunct the North Node. And conjunct the North Node, it's already past this North Node, but it's really coming back so that we can continue to dissolve perspectives, how we're taking in information. So the information, oh, and let me say that the first decan, now when Mercury went retrograde, it was in the third decan, which was the Scorpio archetype. So we were digging out a lot of stuff that's been hidden from us, from perspectives of our reality uh, that have come to the surface. And we're now sort of getting a re-look at our perspective of reality. Like, what have we all been doing? And it's interesting. So, in my report, and what I'm going to talk a little bit about now is about Mercury, because I feel like this entire um, energy, this whole unraveling, has to do with the perspective that we've all been born into and conditioned into throughout our lives. And it's especially linked to Mercury. And over the last couple of years, I've been very interested in Mercury, and I've gone into studying the Hermetic principles. And the first Hermetic principle is everything is mind. Everything is perspective. And the thing about Mercury is that Mercury, the god Mercury, was the only one of the gods that could traverse to the underworld through all the layers of reality. And when you think about that, that's like this, you can gather it, it essentially gives the picture to me that there is information that can be hidden in the other world. We have subconscious information, and this is what in the last moon we were digging up subconscious information to bring to the surface so that Um, we can see it. You know, what happens when we have things in our subconscious that are just not worked through, they become projections and they start driving us underneath the surface. And we do things we don't understand why we're doing them, even do things that we don't want to be doing. I can say that I was a cigarette smoker for a long time and I didn't want to be doing it, but I had some subconscious stuff that needed to be worked out. Um, and thank goodness, I guess it's gone because I'm not smoking cigarettes anymore. But this is what I mean about this hidden information. And so, what I am gathering, let me just jump really quickly before I go back in. We've got this Saturn and Neptune. We've begun a new cycle, and it's really just starting to be visible at the 0 degrees on I believe it was I'm gonna say the 20th of February. It was at 0 degrees. It was a big alignment, an alignment that hadn't happened in over 6,000 years. And at that time, yes, you can say that it's something new that's happening, but it's at 0 degrees. We don't know what it is. It's not seen yet. And it's really just beginning to be seen. But Saturn being there, Saturn is like the reality, how we see it. And it's like how we crystallize, what it is that we know and, the rules that we share to get along in the society. Both Jupiter and Saturn are social planets. They're rules and the laws of society that we all get along to work together. And so what's been being uncovered is that the people that have governed our world in our society for thousands of years, I mean, they hand that stuff down. The money is handed down, the values are handed down and disseminated to the people. And much of our reality has been hidden. And as a way to control and keep us doing what we do. And that's changing. You know, we are becoming aware of a lot of the hidden things that are have been happening in our reality. And at the same time, we are aligning. So while these things come up to the surface, where they can be dissolved, which is why I call it the unraveling, we're also, it leaves a void, and in the void, something else comes in. And what's coming in is these very Piscean values. But we're letting go of thought processes and our perception of reality. Uh, we're letting go of the way we have acted. Mars is also there, and also how we see ourselves and how we shine that self-image out into the world. These are all the things that are changing. This is the great unraveling. And so what else? Jupiter is now going direct, and this is great. While Jupiter expands everything it touches, while it was retrograde, root Jupiter also is about truth and your belief structure. It rules the right brain. This is the part of the brain which is very flowy, not so many hard and fast rules. It is the part of Jupiter that is connected to Pisces. And the archaic role of Jupiter was that it ruled Pisces before Neptune was discovered. And so Jupiter has a connection to Pisces, and it is through the right brain that we each have our ability to connect with Source. And so we may get divine inspiration. As we had Jupiter retrograde for such a long time, 5 months, I believe, and we were um, getting a look at to believe in our inner self. We were moving from external belief structures to the internal belief structure. And so Jupiter's been in Cancer now since, I believe, May or early June of last year, and it will be finishing its just over a year-long journey in July. But here we're expanding the inner world, our emotional world. Jupiter is also our intuition, and in previous moon reports, I have talked about this internal navigation system, where in the past we have been led totally from the outside, like we are children, but that we actually have an internal navigation system that's not very well developed because we don't use it when we are guided and ruled from outside of ourselves. And so this past year or two, we've really been working on listening to our intuition and understanding that we all have these amazing powers and abilities to guide ourselves. And that's what's coming on, because what I think and what I feel happening as the external world is dissolving and something new is coming in its place, while we're ending this energy where we've been guided from the outside, what's happening is a lot of the things that have been hidden from us are coming to the surface so that we can see them. And what that does for me is like, whoa, it's shocking. Um, and that links over here to this Uranus shocking value structure. Yes, it's very shocking, what it is that we've been dealing with. And then we see that Venus is coming on brand new. Um, we're learning to find our own values, as the external values kind of fall away. And we're also learning how to be our own authority as the external authority. And how are we guiding ourselves? This internal guidance system that I speak about. So, yeah, we're dissolving a lot of things, and new things are coming into our reality. And I don't know, I've been feeling um, pretty hyped about what it is that I want to do in the future, and have started taking some actions, not actually doing what I want to do, but putting into place like people that can guide me, and yeah, really starting to think about it on all kinds of different levels. And I imagine that everybody else is doing the same as we are dissolving and unraveling the past. We're really also filling in this energy that we prepare to each contribute to this new shift. So I've been talking about this for quite a while. It is not through the external world that we will see change. It is through the internal world, because the external world is a conglomeration of all the individuals. Pluto is an Aquarius. This is the time of the individual. This external control is dissolving out, something new is coming in. And I have described this as like the fingers on a hand, where each finger is an important piece, important appendage. For example, if you play the piano or guitar, each are important in themselves, but when attached to the palm, what we have is this amazing tool that all the pieces work together to help function. And this is really the Aquarius energy, where the individual is held up and supported. And as we begin to vibrate in our true frequency, we really meet up with others that are doing the same, kind of like a magnet. If you're vibrating at your true frequency, those that are vibrating at that frequency will be drawn to you. And you'll already have like a camaraderie and understanding, and be able to create together, like the fingers on a hand, that which will be beneficial for humanity altogether. So what I see happening in the great unraveling is that the wealth and the power of the few that are leading this world forward is coming to an end. And the empowerment, Pluto, is an Aquarius in the individual and in the transformation that will take place as the individual is held up as opposed to just the few. So that is my very quick uh description of what's happening right now. And yeah, I hope this has been let me go stop the share. There we go. I hope this has been informative and yeah, if anybody is interested in having me take a look at your chart and where these planets are lining for you, um, you can reach out to me at my website, um, JessKarenAstrology.com, and I will link it below. And then, like I said, I produce a written, pretty extensive where I look at all the alignments, all of the aspects that our planets are making to each other, and from there draw out this conclusion. So I will link that in the comments below as well. And I hope you all have a wonderful new moon. My plan is to write down some things that I want to rid myself of and say some prayers and write down some things that I'm really interested in creating for my future and burning those. I've been doing that ceremony for many years now. It's a good new moon. The fire is the great transformer. So I just write them down and burn them and work toward that energy. And so yeah, that's my plan. And I wish you all a happy new moon in Pisces. And we'll see you next time.